Good morning, my dear students. Today I am going to teach you the concept, recalling of the concepts atoms as well as solving MCQs. Okay. So here, since there is no much space, whatever important thing, equations, whatever is needed, I've written. Okay. So the theory, in between, definitely I'll explain. Okay. And I have sent the whole detailed synopsis. Okay. So that you can refer to those. Okay. So here, before Rutherford, the first concept of atomic, how exactly an atom is, that is explained by the scientist J.J. Thomson. Okay, so according to him, it's also called a plum pudding model. Okay, or watermelon model. Okay, so he says the positively charged sphere of the atom on which there are some negatively charged particles are embedded, just like seeds, okay, on watermelon, okay, so or plums in a cake or pudding. Okay, this is what is J.J. Thomson's assumption of atom. Okay, so here there are some drawbacks in J.J. Thomson's atomic model. Before that, we will see what are all the advantages or merits of J.J. Thomson's atomic model. So according to him, he explains the neutrality of atom. That means atom is neutral, electrically neutral. So he says the total positive charge present in an atom is equal to total negative charge. That is one of the success of J.J. Thomson's atomic model. Okay, and he also explains ionization and all. Okay, how exactly ionization takes place when negatively charged particle is been removed from the atom. Okay, so that is his success, and he fails to explain the large angle alpha particle scattering that is observed by Rutherford. Okay, he can't explain that, and he will not explain how atom is stable. Okay, or the line spectrum emitted by the atom. All those things he could not explain. That is his drawback. Okay, so next is Rutherford's alpha model. So he is actually the student of J.J. Thomson. Okay, the the discovery of nucleus, that credit goes to Rutherford. So he performs, along with, by suggesting or by guiding to his two scientists, Giger and Marsden are the two scientists. They performs this experiment by the as per the suggestion of Rutherford. Okay, let me just make you recall this Rutherford's alpha particle scattering experiment and some of the results, so that we will sum up what are all the total assumptions of Rutherford's atomic model. Okay, so here alpha particle, okay, from a alpha particle source. Alpha particle is a helium nucleus, 2He4. So when we say charge of the alpha particle, you must recall that it is 2, Z is 2, because it is a helium nucleus, 2He4. Okay, and the mass number is 4. Okay, so alpha particle is made to move towards the gold foil. He uses gold foil, very small thickness, 0.2 micrometer thickness, very thin. Okay, so there you must know the atomic number of gold is 79. Z is equal to 79. Okay, fine. So these alpha particles are made to move towards the gold foil, and they observed that almost all the alpha particles moved without showing any scattering. Okay, they traveled straight away, they passed straight away through the gold foil. Okay, and less than 0.14% of the alpha particles, they scattered just more than 1 degree, almost nil. You can say scattering is nil, but 0.14% of the alpha particles scattered, by just more than 1 degree. Okay, and 1 in 8,000 alpha particles scattered just more than 90 degrees, something like this. See, this is alpha particle, direction of velocity vector of alpha particle. Okay, so it's been scattered like this. So this is the original direction. So this is the scattering angle theta. Okay, so almost all the particles, alpha particles travel straight, and they used to hit the zinc sulfide screen, which gives scintillations or light. Light is emitted so that one can detect. Along with that, detector is also kept that will count the alpha particles, coming in different angles, okay, and hitting the zinc sulfide screen. Okay, so here, and very few, okay, almost negligible number of alpha particles were, scattering back. Okay, so in the same path, they used to retrace back. Okay, so these are, they led to very important conclusions in Rutherford's alpha particle experiment, and we will see which are all the conclusions. See here, I said almost all the particles, alpha particle used to travel straight. It says the atom is almost empty. Okay, the atom is almost empty. Okay, and I said few number of alpha particles used to come back, retrace its path back. Okay, as though, it's something is hitting and, recoiling in the same direction. Okay, so why it happens? It is because some, inside the atom, in some small region, okay, there is a charged particle that is same charge as that of the alpha particle. Alpha particle is positively charged, similar, charged, I mean positively charged, heavy, but placed in very small region, particle is present inside the nucleus. This is inside the atom. This is what is the conclusion he comes to, and they call that one as nucleus, which is positively charged, similar to alpha particle. That's the reason it will retrace its path back. It will turn back after, just like it's undergoing collision with it and coming back. Okay, so now that's why they are some of the important conclusions. Atom, almost all the space inside the atom is empty, except in a small region there is a positively charged heavy particle called nucleus. Okay, so these are some of the important conclusions. So here you have to define two important terms. Okay, one is distance of closest approach. See, as we expect, they do not undergo collision. Actually, alpha particle will never undergo collision with the nucleus because both are positively charged. There is a very large Coulombic repulsive force existing between them. So, alpha particle reaches to particular position or particular point, okay, in the during the head-on. See, this is the head-on direction, or collision is called head-on collision. Though there is no collision taking place, we call it head-on collision. So what happens? It travels, alpha particle travels almost close to the nucleus, not exactly into the nucleus, almost close to the nucleus by making use of its kinetic energy. And at one point, it loses all its kinetic energy, which will be converted into potential energy there. Okay. And that distance, okay, here from the center of the nucleus is called distance of closest approach. Okay, distance of closest approach represented by capital D. Okay, now you need the equation for that. I'll show you how one can get it. See here I've shown, since there is no place there. So D, distance of closest approach, is 2Ze square by 4 pi epsilon naught into kinetic energy. So how to get it? See here, just observe here. At that point, what happens? Kinetic energy, half mv square, will be converted into potential energy. You know, potential energy is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q1 q2 by r. Okay, q1 is how much? 2e, that is charge of the alpha particle, 2e, and charge of the nucleus, q1 q2, that is Ze. Okay, gold nucleus, charge of the gold nucleus, Ze. Okay, by the distance of separation between them is distance of closest approach. If you remember this concept, then you can easily remember this equation. Otherwise, you may get confused while writing. Okay, this is a concept, basic concept involved. Okay, kinetic energy is converted into potential energy. Okay, so distance of closest approach is this. Okay. So then impact parameter, there is one more concept, okay, impact parameter. It is nothing but represented by B, I have shown here, okay, B, that varies, okay, from one alpha particle to another alpha particle, that impact parameter will vary, okay. So now what happens is, you know, this is nothing but the perpendicular distance between the nucleus, center of the nucleus, to the initial velocity vector. It can be this also. B can vary, okay. So when it is away, when the alpha particle is away from the nucleus, B is more, okay. And for head-on condition, head-on collision condition, B is 0, okay. That time theta is 180 degree, okay. I have sent one equation for impact parameter, okay. You can refer to it. Since it is not there in the NCERT textbook, I have not written here. Okay, it's there in the synopsis, you can see there. Huh? That is when theta is 180 degree, when it is turning back. Okay, so impact parameter is 0 because it is the head-on collision direction. Understood? These are some of the important concepts, you know, related to Rutherford's alpha particle scattering experiment. Okay. So then what are the assumptions of, Rutherford's atomic model? So according to him, okay, every atom consists of a nucleus, positively charged region inside the atom called nucleus, and electrons are revolving around the nucleus. Okay, this is one assumption. And for the electron to revolve, there is a centripetal force needed, and that is provided by the force of attraction, electrostatic force of attraction between the nucleus and the electrons. Okay, so that is, how exactly that centripetal force is provided. That's what he explains. But here there is, though he successfully explains why, large angle alpha particle scattering takes place, and also he introduces a concept of nucleus, that is his success. Okay, there are some demerits in Rutherford's alpha particle experiment. So according to Rutherford, electron is just revolving around the nucleus, but according to electromagnetic theory, whenever electron moves, in circular path, it accelerates. So when it accelerates, definitely there is some loss of energy. So finally, what happens, as per Rutherford's atom concept, electron revolving, spiraling down and hitting the nucleus, okay, and it's undergoing collision with the nucleus, that electrons. So which is, that definitely says atom is unstable, okay. But experimentally it is observed atom is highly stable, okay. So that is one thing, that is his drawback. He could not explain stability of the atom. And one more thing, whenever the atoms, spectrum observed from the atoms was line spectrum. Okay, so line spectrum. But according to Rutherford concept, continuously when the electron loses energy, the emitted spectrum must be continuous emitted spectrum. Okay, but that is not true. Experimentally it is observed atomic spectrum is a line spectrum. Okay, so that they are the two things, drawbacks of Rutherford's atom model. One is he could not explain stability of the atom, and second one is he could not explain the origin of line spectrum of the atom. Okay, so next comes the one more model, that is Bohr's atomic model. Here, Bohr, though he could successfully explain stability of the atom and line spectrum of the atom, he makes use of Rutherford's, concept of electron revolving around the nucleus. His job is easy here. Okay, so according to the Bohr, electrons are revolving around the nucleus. Okay, in some selected orbits. Here he restricts the electron to particular stable orbits. Okay, and he calls it as stationary orbit. Okay. So that is Bohr's first postulate. Electron cannot revolve randomly as it is desired. It can revolve only in some selected orbits called a stationary orbit. introduction of stationary orbit is by scientist Bohr. Okay, that's first postulate. Second postulate is that electrons can have the stationary orbits radii, in such a way that it should follow a rule. Okay, that is angular momentum is equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. Okay, so here I don't know where to write. Anyhow, I'll write here somewhere. Here I'll. What is that? Angular momentum, which is mvr, should be equal to nh by 2 pi. Okay, this is what is the condition to have the stationary orbits. So what stationary orbits they can revolve in? It should follow that rule. What is that? Angular momentum. Whenever any particle undergoes circular path, it's having angular momentum, not linear momentum. That angular momentum should be equal to integral multiple of h by 2 pi. Okay. This is another postulate, second postulate of Bohr. And third postulate is that, electron cannot emit, or atom cannot emit energy, in stationary orbits. When it is revolving around the nucleus in stationary orbit, it cannot emit energy. And when it can emit energy? It can emit energy only when it undergo transition from higher to lower energy states. Okay. So how much is the energy emitted? Here you can see h nu is equal to En2 minus En1. En2 energy of the higher, larger stationary orbit. En1 energy of the lower. This is upper one, and this is the lower one, energy of the lower stationary orbit. Okay, how much is the energy emitted? H nu, which is also, what is the wavelength? Corresponding wavelength, hc by lambda. Okay, you can make use of that equation. Fine. Now, based on Bohr's concepts only, radius of the stationary orbit. See, in NCERT textbook, they eliminated Z and N. Okay, thinking that Z is 1 for hydrogen atom. Okay, but in competitive examination, it's not that all the problems you get, based on hydrogen. You also get it, based on hydrogenic atoms. Okay, or hydrogen-like atoms. What are hydrogenic atoms? See, like helium. Helium is having 2 protons and 2 electrons. Okay, so now if you remove one electron, okay, yeah, of course 2 neutrons are also there. Okay, when you remove 1 electron from helium, what happens? It will be having 1 electron similar to hydrogen. Okay, so now Z is 2 for helium. Z is 2 for helium. But if you remove 1 electron, it becomes hydrogenic atom or hydrogen-like atom. For that, you have to change Z. Z always, need not be 1. Okay, so that's why I retained Z all over. Okay, Z and N. Even the first, for hydrogen atom, generally, see, if it is in stable state, N is 1. Okay, principal quantum number, N will be 1. If it is in stable state at the ground state. Okay. That need not be all the time. It can be raised to higher levels also. So I retain N all the time and Z. Okay. So radius of nth stationary orbit is epsilon naught n square h square by pi m z e square. Okay. So you must be knowing all these, otherwise you can't survive. You can't derive all these in the examination. Okay. So radius of nth orbit, that's why proportional to all these are all constants. See, epsilon naught h pi m e. Okay, for hydrogen, electron, m is mass of electron. Okay, e is charge of electron. Okay, all those. So now Rn, radius of nth stationary orbit, is proportional to n square by z. Okay, this is very important. Very easy to solve the questions if you know how to modify this. Okay, now if you substitute all the values like n is 1, z is 1 and everything, h Planck's constant, you get radius of the first orbit as 0.53 angstrom. 0.53 angstrom. If you want radius of any other state, okay, what you can do? See, like if you want radius of second state, okay, so then what you can write? R2 is equal to 0.53 into 2 square. That's all. 0.53 into 4. You get radius of the second orbit. Okay. For hydrogen-like atom, you can write Z. Same value 0.53 into n value, any orbit. Orbit number, if you know, you substitute. And Z. For hydrogen-like atoms, you substitute the value of Z. For singly ionized helium, Z is 2. Doubly ionized lithium, it is Z is 3. Okay, and triply ionized beryllium, Z is 4. Okay, you get problems till this, okay, as I have observed. Okay, then radius of the orbit keeps on increasing in the ratio because R is proportional to n square, 1:4:9. Okay, these are very simple 3 equations. You can solve any kind of problems. Okay, fine. Next, velocity of the electron. Velocity is distance 2 pi r by time taken, time period, you know, all those. If you substitute, you get this. Okay, velocity of electron in the nth orbit, Z square by 2 epsilon naught nh. Okay, this is the equation. This is also very useful. More useful this one. Okay, Vn proportional to Z by n. You must understand. For hydrogen-like atoms, as Z increases, velocity increases, and n increases, higher and higher principal quantum number, velocity decreases. The slow, it becomes slow. Okay, that is one thing. Then velocity of the electron in the first state for hydrogen atom is 2.18 into 10 power 6 meter per second. So if for any other, you know, hydrogen-like atom in any state, you can use this one. Okay, same thing. Vn is equal to Z by n into 2.18 into 10 power 6. It's very easy. You can get for any state in any hydrogenic atoms. Huh? Okay. Next, total energy of the electron in nth stationary orbit. En is equal to minus m z square e to the power 4 by 8 epsilon naught square n square h square is the equation. This you derive usually. Okay, this is the general equation. En proportional to minus z square by n square. You must understand how z is related to energy. Here square of z directly proportional. Huh? And n, how they are related. For higher orbit, what happens? Energy increases. Energy increases because negative is there, no? Negative sign. Okay. Then energy of the stationary, first stationary orbit. If you substitute all the values in EV, electron volt, minus 13.6 electron volt. Okay. Then generalizing, you know, En is also, you can also write here, yeah, Z square, that is also easy. Right. For any hydrogen-like atom, you can write, yeah, into Z square in electron volt. Okay. For any energy of any hydrogen-like atom in any state, okay, it is minus 13.6 into Z square. For helium, singly ionized helium, you can write 2 square, okay, by n square, this much. Then there's another important easy equations that frequently appear in competitive exams. Okay, you may have to relate. Writing total energy in kinetic energy alone or potential energy alone. Okay, so you can show that total energy is minus kinetic energy. Okay, and same way in potential energy, total energy is plus potential energy by 2, half of the potential energy. Then potential energy and kinetic energy are related as potential energy is minus 2 kinetic energy. Okay. Yes. Then line spectrum. So as you know, Bohr says, electron atom emits energy when it undergo transition from higher to lower state. Okay. So N1 is the lower state, N2 is the higher state. Okay. So what is the wavelength emitted during the transition? It's given by wave number, nu bar, or 1 by lambda. Then you can take the reciprocal for wavelength. 1 by lambda is equal to r z square. I have retained the z square here for hydrogenic atoms. Okay, for hydrogen it is 1. Huh? R is a Rydberg constant, okay, whose value is 1.097 into 10 power plus 7 per meter. Okay, you might be knowing its value R. Okay, so Z is a atomic number, and this is the what principal quantum number, or different two states when it go transition from higher to lower state. This I have taught you already. Yeah. Now, whenever the electrons undergo transition to the first state, whichever may be the higher state, first state, okay, you get Lyman series, which lies in the ultraviolet region. For second state, N1 is 2, when it undergo transition for second state, you get visible light, colors, different colors you will get. Ultraviolet, it's not visible, okay, but high frequency, higher frequency than visible. Huh? Okay. Paschen series, the transition goes to third state. Okay. You get infrared, rays. In the sense, heat is emitted. Okay, infrared. The spectrum lies in the infrared region or wavelength. Same way, bracket series. N1 is 4. Fund series, N1 is 5. All these three is far infrared region. Okay, the spectrum lies in the far infrared region. Okay, so these are some of the things. And one more thing I wanted to, anyhow, when I explain the problems, I'll tell you number of transitions taking place. Okay, number of wavelengths emitted is nothing but n into n minus 1 by 2. Okay, how many lines are emitted during one transition? Okay, that I will teach you when I solve the problem. Okay, now if you want, you can take the screenshot of this. Sir, Raja ilva? Erase ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ವಾ ಅವರು? ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಓಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ರೆ. Okay, we'll solve the questions one by one. Okay, first question based on alpha particle scattering, okay, and Rutherford's concept. When an alpha particle of mass m moving with velocity v bombards on a heavy nucleus of charge Ze, okay, charge of the nucleus is Ze, and alpha particles charge we know it is 2e, okay, its distance of closest approach from the nucleus, distance of closest approach depends on m as, okay. So you can observe here, okay, the equation is ready here. Distance of closest approach depends directly on charges of alpha particle and the gold nucleus, okay? But they have asked how distance of closest approach depends on mass, okay? Mass, okay? Mass of what? Mass, okay? Nuclear mass. Yes, no, alpha particles mass, of course, because alpha particle, you know, its kinetic energy converts into potential energy. So here, kinetic energy is half mv square. So m comes in the denominator. That's why distance of closest approach, okay, d is inversely proportional to m. Okay, mass of the alpha particle. Okay, so that's why the answer is C here. Okay. Next, second one. In Rutherford experiment, when a projectile of charge Z1, okay, a projectile of charge, this is alpha particle, right? Its charge is how much? Z1, okay, and mass M1, its mass is how much? M1, okay. Approaches a target nucleus. There is a nucleus there, okay. Its charge is Z2, its charge is Z2 and mass is M2, okay. The distance of closest approach R is how much? Okay, this is what they say. What is the distance of closest approach? This is the distance of closest approach R. Now we will see how much is this R. R is proportional to what? Two charges. Distance of closest approach is directly proportional to two charges and inversely proportional to mass of the what? Mass of the alpha particle. Mass of the alpha particle. Now if you substitute, R is proportional to what is charge of alpha particle? Z1. Charge of the nucleus is how much? Z2. Okay. And what is the mass of the alpha particle? It is M1. So we get this much. R is proportional to Z1, Z2 by M1. Okay. Now we will see which are the possible, which is a possible option. Directly proportional to Z1, Z2. Yeah, it appears to be correct. Inversely proportional to Z1, wrong. Directly proportional to M1, wrong. Directly proportional to M1, M2 is also wrong. So first one is the answer. Okay. Answer A. Okay. Next, third one. An electron is moving around the nucleus of hydrogen atom in circular orbit of radius r. The Coulomb force between the two is how much? Okay, so just a basic question, but you must have a idea of vector approach. That's all. Okay, Coulomb force is actually, they say what? Electron is revolving. Okay, fine, around the nucleus. Okay, this is the nucleus. Okay, electron is negatively charged. Okay, fine. Now radius is r. Radius is r. Okay, what is the Coulomb force? We know that F is equal to K. K they gave as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Okay, K value they gave into charge of the nucleus. Yeah, it is what? Hydrogen atom. It is hydrogen atom. So how much? How many protons are there here? One proton. Its charge is E. Okay. So charge of the proton nucleus is E. Charge of the electron is minus E by divided by distance square r square. This is the scalar way of method of writing the equation for force, Coulomb force. But if you observe the answers, it is in vector form. See, two way of writing in vector form I'll show you. One is F is equal to minus, okay, minus K into E square by R square into R cap. This is one method of writing R cap, unit vector. Any vector is having both magnitude and direction. So this is the magnitude and this is the direction, unit vector. Or another method is F vector, of course. Another method is F vector is equal to minus K E square by, you can also write this one as R cube. See, simply you can't write for the square of the distance, you can't take R cube. If you take like this, you have to write R vector, vector R. Okay, this is another method of writing, representing what? Coulomb force. Okay, so now either this is the answer or this is the answer. Okay, if you observe, you will get it. Yeah, first one cannot be because in the denominator you have R cube. Second one is the answer. R cube only, right? It is, yes. No, negative sign is not there in second one. Third one is the answer because you have negative sign, R cube and R vector. This is the form you observe. So answer C. Answer C. Next, fourth one. The ratio of the wavelength of last line of Balmer series and last line of Lyman series. Okay, my dear students, first we will have the idea of this spectrum. Okay, energy level diagram. Okay, so if at all the energy levels are like this, say n is 1, principal quantum number, it is 1, n is 2, n is 3, here n is 4, up till n is infinity. Last line, if you want that, excitation or de-excitation, you need that. N is infinity. If the electron goes there, it is as same as electron going out of the atom. It is ionization. Okay, fine. Now we will see their energies. So some of the energies, if you know, it's well and good. Energy of the first orbit in hydrogen, minus 13.6 eV, minus 3.4 eV, minus 1.51 eV, minus 0.85 eV. Okay, up till, see, energy keeps on increasing, negative value decreases. For infinite state, energy is equal to 0. That is the highest energy for infinite state. Okay, fine. So this is how you must understand, how exactly the electrons are placed in different energy levels having different energy. Okay, last line, first they say transition, okay, ratio of wavelengths of last line of Balmer series. Balmer series means transition should take place to last line to second state. Okay, this gives you Balmer. Okay, so lambda B by, okay, transition, last line of Lyman series. Lyman series means from last line to first state. This is Lyman. This gives rise to Lyman series. Okay. Now you need lambda B by lambda L. Okay. Now how to substitute? 1 by lambda L is RZ square, okay, into first line 1 by 1 square minus, it is infinity, 1 by infinity. Okay, 1 by n1 square minus 1 by n2 square, of course it is infinity. Last line, by, for Balmer, RZ square into Balmer series. First state, it is how much? 1 by, it's a state, it's how much? 1 by 2 square. Balmer series means 2 square minus minus 1 by n2 square. Okay, n2 square, which one? Infinity again. Last line, right? Last line. Now, you just rz square. Anyhow, they get cancelled. Now, we will take this is 0, my dear students. This is 0. 1 by infinity gives rise to 0. This also 0. So, denominator 4 comes to numerator. That's all. Because 1 by 4 goes to numerator. Okay, answer B. Answer B. Okay, this is question number 4. Question number 4. Okay. Next, fifth one, the ratio of the longest wavelengths corresponding to Lyman and Balmer series in hydrogen spectrum is how much? Again, it also seems to be same as previous, but they are not same. Longest wavelength, they say. Longest wavelength means shortest, smallest energy. Longest wavelength means smallest frequency. Smallest frequency means smallest energy. See here, smallest frequency means energy is also small. Energy small means very close lines, levels undergo transition. Electrons undergo transition in nearer energy levels. Okay, so I'll teach you how exactly this happens. 5 lambda wavelength ratio, longest wavelength ratio for Lyman to Balmer. Lyman to Balmer. Okay. Now, for Balmer, we'll do 1 by lambda formula we have. RZ square I won't write here onwards. Okay. So, here for Balmer, 1 by 2 square. Okay, 1 by 2 square is the first state. From which state? Next higher state. Next higher state. From which transition takes place? For for longer wavelength. Longer wavelength means larger frequency, lesser energy. So, the energy level must be closer. So, that's why next higher state means 3 square. This is how you have to substitute. Okay. Now, next for Lyman series. Anyhow, 1 by 1, it's common. 1 is always common. Minus just next higher state for longer wavelength. It is 1 by 2 square. Okay. Now, we'll substitute. Here 4 is 9. Okay, 36. Okay, here 4 9s are 9 minus 4 is 5. Okay, and here how much we will see. Here 4 LCM 4, that goes to numerator, denominator's denominator, 4 goes to numerator by here 1 4s are 4 minus 4 1s are. Okay, 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, so much. Now we'll see how much is this. 4 9s are 36, 4 9s are 36. So 5 by 9 3s are 27. Okay. So lambda L by lambda B is 5 by 27. Okay. So 5 by 27, answer C. Okay. I hope you know from 5th standard you are doing LCM and all. I don't think it's difficult. Okay. If you sit and observe, you can understand. Okay. It is answer C. Okay. Next. 6th one. The wavelength of the first line of Lyman series. First line of Lyman series. N1 is 1. Okay. Yeah. N2 is 2. Okay. First line of Lyman series for hydrogen atom is equal to that of the second line of Balmer series. Second line of Balmer series for hydrogen like atom. See, you started getting hydrogen like atom or hydrogenic atom. Okay. Wavelength, what they say? Wavelength of first line of which one? Lyman series is equal to, this is first line of Lyman series, is equal to wavelength of second line. Wavelength of second line of what? Balmer series in hydrogen-like atom. In hydrogen-like atom. Okay. Then what is the value of that Z for that hydrogen-like atom, hydrogenic atom? What is the value of Z? You have to find out that. So you can't cancel RZ square here. Let me write it. Huh? Okay. 1 by lambda, that is first line of what? This one, Lyman series is R, how much? Z square. Z is 1 for hydrogen atom into 1 by 1 square minus 1 by 2 square. Okay, this is one thing. Next, which is how much? R into 1 minus 1 by 4 is 3 by 4. Okay, next, wavelength of 1 by lambda, second line of Balmer series. R into Z square, we don't know what is that Z, you retain, into 1 by second Balmer series means N1 is 2 square, minus second line, see first line means it is 3, N2 is 3. Okay, because Balmer series means N1 is 2, N2 must be 3 if it is first line. Now they say it is second line. So N2 must be 4 square. Okay, like this. Now we will see how much is this. RZ square into, see here, it is 4, here it is 64, 4 4s are 16. Okay, 16. 16 4 means, yeah, I'll take LCM. 16 4 4s are 4 1s are 4 minus 16 1s are. So now also it is 4 minus 1 is 3. Okay, we got so much. Now we will equate. We will equate because we get, they gave the condition, they are equal. So you can equate these two. We will equate those two. Okay, these two we will equate. R into 3 by 4 is equal to RZ square into 3 by 16. See, whichever things cancelling here, R cancels, 3 cancels. Okay, so Z square is 16 by 4 is 4. Okay, so now Z is there, 4 square root of 4 is 2. Okay, so then it must be which hydrogen like atom? It is helium, right? Z is 2. Okay, so the answer is D here, option D. Okay, fine. Same, you stick on to the same what? Equation of wavelength. Okay, using Rydberg constant equation. Okay, just equate the two because they said the wavelengths are same. Only thing is you have to be careful whether the line given is first line or second line. That you have to be careful. Next question. It was incredible, as if you fired a 15-inch shell at a piece of tissue paper. Okay, so it's you know, it seems to be very funny because firing a shell towards a what? Tissue paper. Okay, and it came back and hit you. It came back and hit you. See, this is a statement that is exclaimed by one of the scientists, that is Rutherford, of course, while he came to know about the result of alpha particle hitting the gold nucleus during head-on collision and coming back. Okay, they never imagined that could happen, as though some strong target is there. Okay, but here it's so thin, the gold foil. In spite of that, the alpha particle recoiled back. Okay, so how he felt, this one, as though there is a shell, okay, that is fired, okay, at a piece of tissue paper. Then also it turns back and hitting the same person, hitting you. Okay, this is in connection with what? Okay, of course, it is in connection with the alpha particle. Okay, that's hitting the gold nucleus. Okay, so that's why, which is C is the answer. Question number 7, answer C. Next, eighth one. So we'll go for, yeah, it's Bohr, based on Bohr's model of the hydrogen atom. Okay. For which of the following Bohr's model is not valid? Okay. So that's actually drawback of Bohr's model. One of the drawbacks is that Bohr's model is applicable to only hydrogen and hydrogen-like atoms. Okay. So till Z is 4, it's been used, okay, as I have observed. So we will see hydrogen atom, Z is 1. Okay. Deuterium atom. Deuterium is another isotope of hydrogen. Why we write it as 1H2. There are two isotopes, two more isotopes actually for hydrogen. One is deuterium and another one is triton or triton. Okay, that's unstable. It won't exist. It will decay suddenly. Okay, anyhow, they are the two isotope of hydrogen, deuterium. Therefore, or deuteron. They are one and the same. Deuteron, Z is 1. Okay, applicable Bohr's atom concept. Singly ionized helium, of course, it is applicable hydrogen-like atom, right? Singly ionized neon, neon Z is 10. Okay, so it is not applicable. So answer D. Next, ninth one. The total energy of an electron in an atom is, in an orbit, is minus 3.4 eV. Total energy, or simply En also you can write, minus 3.4 eV. Okay. Its kinetic and potential energies are how much? Okay. Here, if you know the equation, as I taught you already, it will be easy for you to write anything, you know, writing kinetic energy in terms of total energy or potential energy in terms of total energy. Otherwise, you have to, you know, use the same energy equation and converting into kinetic, because basic equation when you are deriving total energy is kinetic energy plus potential energy. You substitute those values, you know, writing, it's very difficult. So if you know the equation, you can easily get it. What is that? Kinetic energy is minus total energy. Or I told you, total energy is minus kinetic energy. Huh? Okay, so now minus of minus 3.4. So what is the kinetic energy? Therefore, plus 3.4. That's all. Total energy, if you know, just sign you change. That's all. Okay, you got it. Then kinetic energy, potential energy, total energy is given by potential energy by 2. Okay, this is another equation. If you want, it is 2 into total energy. 2 into total energy is minus 3.4. So it is how much? Minus 6.8 eV. Okay, one is plus, another one is minus. Okay, so the only option you have with one plus, another minus, it is option D if you observe. See, answer D. Okay, one is plus 3.4 eV kinetic energy, minus 6.8 potential energy. Okay, next question, 10th one. The radius of the first permitted Bohr orbit for the electron in hydrogen atom equals 0.51 angstrom. They gave radius of the first orbit is 0.51 angstrom and its ground state energy minus 13.6 eV. This also you know both. Radius of the first orbit minus 0.51 angstrom and energy of the first orbit minus 13.6 eV. If the electron in the hydrogen atom is replaced by another particle, they call it muon. Okay, muon. Muon is something, you know, there is an assumption, you know, there is a theory put forth by a scientist called Yukawa. He says, you know, every, nucleon, you know, surrounding which there is a cloud of muon. okay, muons or mesons, okay, they keep exchanging between two nucleons, neutrons and protons, okay. That's what they make, either, you know, based on the clouds, meson clouds, one can make out whether the particle is neutron there or proton. They will be continuously exchanging between two nucleons, okay. This is what the theory put forth by the scientist Yukawa's meson theory, okay. There are pi mesons and all. Here they say some kind of meson, mu meson, okay, fine. That's instead of electron revolving around the nucleus, if there is muon, then what happens to the first Bohr radius, okay, and the ground state energy will be how much, okay. And they gave charge of the muon is same as electron. Charge of the muon surrounding the nucleus, okay, is same as that of the electron. Huh? So here you have to be little careful. Easy, but okay, which is the question number 10. Charge of the muon is same as charge of the electron. Okay, mu meson is same as charge of the electron, and mass of the meson is 207 times mass of the electron. Mass of the meson, okay, is 207 times mass of the electron. Okay, now you have to imagine mu meson is undergoing what? A revolution around the nucleus. Then what happens to the first Bohr radius? Okay, what is the radius, okay, of this meson when meson is revolving? Okay, is how much? And then energy of the ground state when meson is revolving, okay, like this. Not electron is revolving, meson is revolving, okay. Now we will see what is the radius of the any stationary orbit, okay. R is how much? You can write 0.51 angstrom into, you can write radius directly proportional to n square, okay, n square. So first Bohr orbit, don't worry, okay. So here orbit number they didn't say anything about it. Radius is inversely proportional to z, okay. Z is the charge. Charge is also same, but you have to bother about mass, okay. Radius of this mu meson you can take like this, okay, or yeah, let it be like this, okay. Or yeah, one thing, it's easy if you take only the factor that is dependent on. So R is directly proportional to 1 by m mass, okay, because charge of mu meson same as charge of electron. I can write like this. Z of mu is same as Z of electron, that is E. Okay. So that's why R is proportional to n square by Z. M also comes in the denominator. Z is same for meson and electron. Okay. Mass is the only quantity that is changing. That's why what I will write now is R for mu meson, okay, is equal to 0.51 angstrom by 207. Okay, why this happens here? Okay, this is mass is included already. If you really want the equation, I can go. That also I can write. R is how much? Epsilon naught n square h square by pi m z square. Pi m z square. Okay. If R mu, if you take epsilon naught n square h square same, pi z is also same, e square same, m is 207 m, 207 m now. Okay, now all these things, it's nothing but 0.51 angstrom, this much. Okay, by 207, that's all. Okay, this if you simplify, you get radius of the orbit when meson is revolving in the stationary orbit. Huh? Now what I'll do, I'll write this one as 2, okay. So 0.51 angstrom by 2.07, almost like 2 into 10 power 2. Okay, which is, if you take angstrom 10 power minus 10, this is how much? Minus 10 meter. Huh? So here, if it goes to numerator, it becomes 10 power minus 12. See, 2 is like, you know, here, 0.5 is like 1 by 2. 1 by 2, again 1 2 in the denominator is 1 by 4. 1 by 4 is 0.25. Okay, 0.25, roughly. Okay, this, you know, is not reliable, this number, but it's okay. Huh? Into 10 power minus 10, and here is 110 that goes there, minus 12. Okay. Yes. Now, what is the answer in what, this one? Okay, in minus 13 they gave. So this is also 2.5 into 10 power minus 13 meter. Okay, 2.56 they got. It's okay. If you get so much, you can definitely predict the answer. Huh? Okay. There are two answers with this value, to C and D. Okay. So now we will check energy. Energy. Same way. Energy, okay, is equal to minus 13.6. Now we will check where M comes in energy equation. Energy equation, where M comes in the numerator. M comes in the numerator. Okay. So therefore, this is for, say, hydrogen. Now for muon, okay, including M you get so much. Okay, EV. For muon, minus 13.6 into M. M is 207 times. Okay, larger. M in the numerator. So many times the energy. Okay, so you just multiply. How shall we multiply this one? This, you know, like almost, shall I take it as 14, and this I will take it as 200. I'll reduce this, I'll increase this little bit, manipulation. Huh? Okay, 14 2s are 28. 28, okay. If you write this one is 28 into 10 power 2. Right? Okay. So answer given in, okay, you get it in kilo electron volt. Okay, we can write. So if you want it in kilo, one more 10 is needed. So 2.8 kilo electron volt. This is electron volt. This is kilo electron volt. So the answer is C. Okay, you have both 2.56 into 10 power minus 13 meter radius, and minus is needed. Here is minus, right? Minus. Okay. So the answer is option C. Here, huh? Okay. Now we'll move on to 11th question. Sir? The ratio of kinetic energy to the total energy of electron in Bohr orbit of hydrogen atom is. I hope you can easily answer it. The ratio of total energy to kinetic energy. See, their difference is only if kinetic energy is positive, total energy becomes negative. Because what is the equation? Total energy is minus kinetic energy. Okay, their ratio if you want. Okay, so kinetic energy, you bring this one here. So kinetic energy by total energy is -1. Okay, so the answer is B. When one is plus, another one is minus. You can interchange also, no problem. So answer B. Next, 12th one. 12th one. Okay, consider third orbit. Consider third orbit, N is 3, okay, of helium. That is singly ionized helium. You see there, He plus, okay, Z is 2. When you just observe those things, you can write these values, okay, N is 3, Z is 2. Using non-relativistic approach, here Einstein's mass energy variation is not, mass variation is not considered, okay, for microparticles, okay. The speed of the electron in this orbit will be how much? Speed of the electron in this orbit, how much? I gave you the equation for different hydrogen-like atoms, how to find out velocity. So velocity, how it depends on Z and N, that you have to observe first. V is proportional to Z by N. This is the equation I showed you. Okay, fine. Now, therefore, V is equal to, now V dash is equal to, in hydrogen-like atom, the speed of the electron is 0.51 angstrom, okay, into Z value is 2 by N value is 3. Because for V is actually how much? What is the equation? V is equal to Z square by 2 epsilon naught NH. Okay. So N is 1 and Z is 1. If you substitute, V is equal to how much? 0.51 angstrom. Right. Okay. Now, if you do not substitute for Z and N, later if you substitute Z and N, you get velocity of the electron in that hydrogen-like atom of third orbit. That's all. Okay. Now, this is like how much? It is like half. 2 cancels. 1 by 3 is like 0.33, right? No, how much you are getting? Velocity, 1 minute. So, sorry. What I am doing here, it's not radius, velocity, right? Velocity is 2.18 into 10 power 6. Okay. Isn't it? Velocity of the electron in the first orbit of hydrogen atom is so much. Okay. Now, we will check here. It's see here, 2 into 2 is 4. 4 by 3 is like 1.33. Little more than 1.33 into 10 power 6. Yes. So, you see, fourth one is the option. How much? 1.46 into 10 power 6 meter per second. It is answer B. Okay. Next, 13. Yes. Hydrogen, deuterium D, singly ionized helium, doubly ionized lithium, all have one electron around the nucleus. They are all hydrogen-like atoms. Okay. Consider N is equal to 2 to 1 transition. N is equal to 2 to 1 transition. Common in all the 4, N is equal to 2 to 1 transition takes place. The wavelength of the emitted radiations in those cases, 2 to 1 in different hydrogen-like atoms are lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3 and lambda 4. Then how they are related, their wavelengths will not be same during the, though the transition is same, atoms are different, hydrogen-like atoms are different. So the wavelengths will also be different. We will see how they are related. What is the equation? 1 by lambda is equal to R into first case 1 square, okay, into transition is from 1 by 1 square, this is the second to first one, 1 by 4, 2 square, okay, which is how much? R into 1 minus 1 by 4 is 3 by 4. 3 by 4. This is same for all, this is same. Okay, and R is also same. This is called first transition. Okay, in which one? It is in hydrogen. I will write 1 by, yeah, lambda 1. Second one, this is first one. Second transition, 1 by lambda 2. Okay, this is for deuterium. R, deuterium is again 1 only there, 1 square. Deuterium, Z is 1 only. Huh? Okay, into transition is same, 3 by 4. The second equation. Third equation, 1 by lambda 3 is equal to R into, now the hydrogen-like atom is helium, singly ionized helium. So it must be 2 square. 2 square means 4, okay, into 3 by 4. Okay, last one, 1 by, okay, 1 by lambda 4 is equal to R into Z is how much now? For ionized, doubly ionized lithium is 3. Z is 3 means 9. Okay, into 3 by 4. See, if you compare all these, if you compare, see, R 3 by 4 is common. Okay, in all the cases. Huh? Okay, so this implies, okay, lambda 1 is equal to lambda 2. They are same. See, look at R3 by 4, R3 by 4 is same as 1 by lambda 1 is equal to 1 by lambda 2. They are equal. Huh? Now, here, R3 by 4 is equal to, R3 by 4 is equal to how much? 1 by 4 lambda 3. Okay, 1 by 4 lambda 3. Same way here, R3 by 4 is 1 by 9 lambda 4. Okay, so now you can equate all these. Okay, here is 1 by lambda 1, 1 by lambda 1, 2, like that. They are equal, no? They are all equal because R3 by 4 is common in all the cases. Huh? This implies that lambda 1 is equal to lambda 2 is equal to 4 lambda 3 is equal to 9 lambda 4. So answer which one? Yes, answer E. Quite lengthy but not difficult. Okay, little you have to think and continue solving. Huh? Next one. Monochromatic radiation emitted when electron on hydrogen atom jumps from first excited state. See, first excited state means n is equal to 2. Okay, question number 13. N is equal to 2. First excited state. See, ground state is n is equal to 1. First excited state means n is equal to 2. Okay, to the ground state irradiates a photosensitive material. Whenever transition takes place, photon is emitted and that wavelength is made to fall on a cathode, photosensitive material. The stopping potential was found to be 3.57 volt. Stopping potential 3.57 volt stopping potential. Okay, then threshold frequency is how much? What is the threshold frequency? They are asking. See, they are linking two chapters here, dual nature of matter and atoms. Okay, so now we have transit. We will calculate what is the wavelength of photon in a transition of electron from second to first state in hydrogen atom. What is R? R is 1.097 into 10 power 7, okay, into 1 minus 1 by 4 is 3 by 4. I'll write directly now because you used to it, Lyman series, okay, transition from second to first state, you get so much. So 1 by lambda you got so much. Huh? Now what is the equation, Einstein's equation for photoelectric effect, Hc by lambda is equal to h nu naught plus EV or EV naught. Okay, they asked you to find out what is threshold frequency. Okay, so you send EV naught to the other side. So h nu naught is equal to Hc by lambda minus EV naught. Hc, I told you in the last class, I taught you it is 20 into 10 power minus 26. Commonly you get Hc product into 1 by lambda you already got here. 1 by lambda so much. 3 by 4 into, you can write roughly this 1.097 as 1 only, no problem. 10 power 7. Okay. Minus EV naught. E is 1.6. E is 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 into V naught, they gave 3.57. 3.57. Okay. Yeah. So H is to be removed, right? H is to be removed from this. Okay. H, I'll bring it here. H will cancel also. It's okay anyhow. 6.625 into 10 power minus 34. Okay. Here 6 because H should come here also. 6.625 into 10 power minus 34. Okay. So here 4, if it cancel, yeah, powers you just observe. The minus 34, here it is minus 19. Minus 19, 10 power minus 34, you get 10 power minus 15 in the denominator. If it goes to numerator, you get 10 power 15. It is common, see, in both the cases. 10 power 15. Okay. Now you have to calculate, you know, this one. What is common? Common is, yeah, 6.625 is common here. Yeah, then 4 5s are 20, 5 3s are 15. Okay. Minus here, this has gone there. This you can write somewhere around 3.5. 3.57, like 3.6, and this is 1.5. 1.5. See, like 1.5 into 3.6. This is like 3 by 2. 2 1s are 2 2s are. So 12 3s are 36. 3.6. Okay, 3.6. Okay. Fine. Now, if you subtract these two, how much you get? Here 2.4, no, 12.4. 12.4 by 6.625 into 10 power 15. So 6 almost twice. Okay. Not twice, little less than twice. 1 point maybe something into 10 power 15. Okay, hertz. How much do you get? Yes, you have no answer. Little less than 2 means the only possibility you have is 1.6. Okay. Answer, how much? C. Okay. You might have felt this also little lengthy. You know, it all depends on your calculating ability. Okay. So you must know how to manipulate and solve it as quick as possible. Okay. And one, you know, dear students, all these questions, whatever I included, is from previous examination, competitive examinations. Okay. Next, 14th one. Out of the following, which one is not possible energy, not a possible energy for a photon to be emitted by a hydrogen atom according to Bohr's atomic model? Which are the possible energies, you know, which of the following energies is not possible during the transition? This is what they asked. One is 0.65, you know, eV. See, when you take the difference of any two levels, you know, you can definitely get such kind of small energy, 0.65, 1.9, okay. 1.9 can be possible, okay, when you take the difference, okay, maybe this and this or something like that. Then 13.6, 13.6 from infinite state to first state difference, you get 13.6 eV, because infinite state's energy is 0, first state's energy is 13.6. So E is equal to E2 minus E1. When you do that, you get the only possibility is third one, because first transition gives the energy difference of how much? How much? 10.2. If you take the difference of this, you get the first energy difference is 10.2 eV. Okay, not more than that. Okay, so that's why C is not possible. Okay, answer C is not possible. That is 11.2 eV. Next, the energy of hydrogen atom in the ground state is minus 13.6 eV. The energy of singly ionized helium in the first excited state, Z is to first excited state, N is to. Okay, so energy, if you want, minus 13.6 eV, okay, into Z square comes in the numerator, by N square comes in the denominator, but both will get cancelled, so you get energy is now which state? Energy in the second state is equal to minus 13.6 eV. Again you will get, it is for a hydrogen like atom. Okay, so energy of the first excited state, that is helium, singly ionized helium. So which is answer? 15th, yeah, answer A. Next, 16. The total energy of electron in the ground state of hydrogen atom, you know, it is minus 13.6 eV. The kinetic energy of the electron in the first excited state. Okay, total energy is equal to minus kinetic energy. Okay, total energy in the first excited state. Total energy in the first excited state, N is equal to 2. First excited state is N is equal to 2. Okay. Then what they asked? Kinetic energy, right? Okay. So is minus 13.6 by, because Z square comes in the numerator. Okay, it's for hydrogen only. N square comes in the denominator, that is 2 square. 2 square means 4. Minus 4 means how many times it cancels? 4 3 is 12. Okay, 16. 4 4 is. Okay, therefore kinetic energy is minus of total energy. Okay, which is how much? Minus of minus 3.4, which is plus 3.4 eV. Okay, plus 3.4 eV. It's not there. Total energy on the first excited, correct? Okay, which is answer D. Answer D. Yeah, next one, 17th question. In which of the following systems will the radius of the first orbit be minimum? Okay, they are asking in which of the following cases, there are so many hydrogen-like atoms, radius is minimum. See, radius is inversely proportional to Z. Radius is inversely proportional to Z. Z is more means R is minimum. Okay. Z more in which case? Singly ionized helium, Z is 2. Hydrogen atom, Z is 1. Okay. This is less means R becomes more. We want R minimum. Okay. So doubly ionized lithium. Okay. For lithium, how much? Doubly ionized lithium. Lithium, it is 3. Okay. This is the largest value. So R becomes minimum. Z more means R becomes minimum in that case. So answer A. Okay. Next, 18th one. The energy of hydrogen atom in nth orbit, En, then energy in nth orbit of singly ionized helium atom. Okay. Energy in singly ionized helium atom is equal to minus 13.6 is the energy of hydrogen in the first state. Okay. Into energy is directly proportional to Z square. Energy is directly proportional to Z square. So Z is 2. Z of helium plus is 2. Substitute. So E1 or En, no, they gave it as En into 2 square is 4. Okay, 4 times its energy in the first state of hydrogen atom. So answer A. Next, 19th one. A hydrogen atom emits green light when it changes from N is equal to 4 to 2. 4 to 2. Of course, it is a Balmer series visible light. Huh? They say it is giving what color? Green. Green. Okay. Now, which color of light would the atom emit when it changes from N is 3 to 2? 3 to 2. My dear students, here you just look at, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 to 2. 4 to 2, larger energy, larger frequency, shorter wavelength. This is shorter wavelength. Whereas if you go for 3 to 2, energy is less, but frequency is also less, wavelength is more. Okay, you should go for larger wavelength. Okay, larger wavelength. We will check now with your. Okay, so wavelength increases this way. Green when it is 4 to 2. Now 3 to 2 means larger wavelength, either yellow, orange or red are the option. Okay, wavelength should be more now. 3 to 2 means. Okay, so then which must be the option? You should not have blue, indigo, all those. You should have these 3. It's red. See, you have red over here. So in this case, which color possibility? It is red. Okay. So answer A. Okay, next 20th. The ionization energy of, I think you can do it very easy. It is ionization energy is 13.6. Then what is the energy? Ionization, it's common. Okay, singly ionized helium, its energy, how much? Can easily calculate. Next, 22nd. An electron revolves how many times? Frequency 21. Frequency is 6 into 10 per 15 times per second. Electron revolves so many times per second. What is the current in the loop? See, my dear students, how to relate? It is one electron revolving in a time period, say t once. Okay, so 1 by t is like F. Okay, so E into F. You can calculate the small current it is going to produce. 1.6 into 10 power minus 19 into 6 into 10 power 15. So 15 minus 15 goes means 10 power minus 4. 16 5s sorry, 16 6s 96. So 9.6 into so much. Yeah, you can write in milliampere, means 0.96 milliampere. Very small current. So it's answer E. Okay, next is 23rd. Which energy states of triply ionized beryllium? It is Z is 4. Triply ionized beryllium has the same orbital radius as that of the ground state of hydrogen atom. In triply ionized beryllium, which state is having same radius as the hydrogen atom? Radius of the triply ionized beryllium is same as radius of hydrogen, they say. Okay, we will check. R is proportional to n square and inversely proportional to Z. Z is 4. Okay, and hydrogen atom, N is ground state, they say, by Z is 1, of course. So N square is equal to 4, N is 2. Okay, that means second state of triply ionized beryllium is its radius is same as what? First state of radius of first stationary orbit of hydrogen atom. Okay, next 24th. 24th, an electron of a stationary hydrogen atom passes from 5th energy level. Okay, here somewhere here n is equal to 5. Okay, n is equal to 5. Okay, to the ground level. Okay, the velocity that the atom acquired as a result of photo emission will be, see, whenever that photon is emitted, the atom will be recoiled. What is its velocity, they are asking. Just go for de Broglie wavelength because it is applicable for microparticles. H by mv. So V is equal to H by m into 1 by lambda. Okay. Now H by m, 1 by lambda for that transition. How much? R into it is a hydrogen atom. Don't worry about Z. Okay. 1 by, it is going transition to first state. 1 square minus from which state? 5th state. 1 by 5 square. 1 by pi square. 1 by lambda, I substituted the equation. Now, HR by M, here 5 square is 25. 25 minus 1, 24. 24 by 25. Okay. So, 24 HR by 25 M. Yes. Answer A. Okay. Next, 25th. The transition from the state n is equal to 3 to 1 in hydrogen-like atom results in ultraviolet radiation. Okay. So 3 to 1 transition, 3 to 1, n is equal to 3 to 1, it is ultraviolet radiation. The infrared radiation will be obtained in, from which transition? Infrared radiation, n is equal to 3 onwards. Okay. N is equal to 3 to 5 results in what? Infrared radiation transition. Okay. So here that is possible in 3, and must be 3 there from higher level to third state is possible here, because nowhere you get 3 there. From higher to lower must be 3. Okay. So 4 to 3 you have, that is answer D. Okay. Next, 26th. The ionization energy of the electron in ground state 13.6 eV means it is N is equal to 1 state hydrogen atom minus 13.6 eV then, okay. The atoms are excited to higher energy levels to emit radiations of 6 wavelengths. Then maximum wavelength of the emitted radiation corresponds to transition between what to what, you have to say. Okay, so here there are 6 lines emitted. Number of lines, how much? 6 lines is equal to n into n minus 1 by 2. How many lines are emitted if the electron is placed in one particular state is given by this formula? They say there are 6 lines are emitted. So it is so 2 comes this side, n square minus n. So n square minus n is minus 12 is equal to 0. If you simplify this one, n square, 3 4s are 12, minus 4n plus 3n minus 12 is 0. N common if you take, n minus 4. Here 3 common if you take, n minus 4 is 0. Then n is minus 3 is not possible, but n is 4 possible. Okay, n is 4 possible. So we will see now. N is 1, n is 2, n is 3, n is 4. Okay, for here the electron is. Which one maximum wavelength is emitted means minimum energy, minimum frequency. So this one. So n is equal to, n is equal to how much? 4 to 3. 4 to 3 transition. Out of, there are so many transitions, 6 lines are emitted, but which is having maximum wavelength? See, this is, what? Minimum wavelength, because maximum energy. Okay, but this one is minimum energy, this transition, minimum energy, but maximum wavelength is possible in transition from 4 to 3. Okay, so it is answer C. Next one, 27. Okay. Ionization potential of hydrogen atom is 13.6 eV, means electron is in ground state. Hydrogen atoms in the ground state are excited by monochromatic radiation of photon energy 12.1 eV. Okay, ground state electron is present. You illuminate some wavelength, so electron raised to higher energy state, and it's having energy how much? 12.1 eV. Then according to Bohr's theory, spectral lines emitted by the hydrogen will be how much? Electron goes to higher energy state. From there, when it is coming back, during different transitions, how many lines are emitted? That's what they are asking. We will see what is the energy. See, we'll check now. 13.6 eV minus 12.1 eV means what is the difference here? 5, 1. See, 1.51 eV means n is 3. Okay, n is 3. So now we will see how many lines are emitted. Here is the formula. See, number of lines. Number of lines is n into n minus 1 by 2. Okay, 3 into n minus 1 is 2 by 2. So therefore, how many lines are emitted during this transition when the electron jumps to higher state by absorbing 12.1 MeV? It is 3. Okay, answer C. Next, 28. Energy levels A, B, C of certain atom corresponding to increasing values of energy. EA is more, EA is lesser, EB is little more, EC is further more. If lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3 are the wavelengths of radiation corresponding to C to B. C to B comes means here lambda 1. Okay, then B to A. B to A transition means lambda 2. Okay, then C to A means lambda 3. C to A means lambda 3. Then what is the, which relationship is correct? There are 4 equations relating different wavelengths are given. How to connect? See, the energy difference EA is equal to sum of the energy difference of CB and BA. Means energy CA is equal to energy CB plus energy BA. Do you agree? This energy, sum of this and this energy. Okay. E is Hc by lambda. Hc by C to A is lambda 3. Hc, C to B means lambda 1 plus Hc, B to A means lambda 2. Okay. All these if you cancel and take the LCM, lambda 3 becomes equal to lambda 1 lambda 2 by lambda 1 plus lambda 2. Okay. So this is how you have to connect the 3 wavelengths. So the answer D. Next, 29th. When an electron does transition from 4 to 2, the emitted spectral line will be 4 to 2. See, 3 to 2, first line of Balmer series. Then 4 to 2, second line of Balmer series, because n is 2 finally. Okay. So it is answer B. Answer B. Next, 30th. De Broglie's concept. Actually, this one question I added based on De Broglie's concept, okay, of Bohr's postulate. Consider an electron in the nth orbit of hydrogen atom in Bohr's model. An electron is present in nth orbit. The circumference of the orbit can be expressed in terms of De Broglie wavelength lambda of that electron as how? Okay. See, one thing you must understand, whenever we consider electron as a particle, there comes a question. Then what is the de Broglie wavelength of electron? Actually, de Broglie says that electron is a particle wave. Okay, it's having n number of wavelengths in different orbits. Okay, so that's why he says the circumference 2 pi r consists of n number of wavelengths. Okay, they are stationary waves formed on itself. Okay, so this is what he says, where lambda is, you can say it is a de Broglie wavelength of that electron. Okay, this one. So that's why the answer is circumference is so much. Yeah, it's direct. Since there is no time, otherwise I would have explained how we got this equation. Okay, so now time is up. So this is answer B. Okay, okay, my dear students, I could somehow manage to solve all the questions. Once again, you sit and watch. You can definitely understand. These are all very, very important questions. Such questions only you will get for your CET, NEET and all. Okay, JEE mains and all little higher. Okay, we don't have much time. Only one session is given to solve this. Okay, thank you.